This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. The Shark Attack promotion brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com rages on today with DIMIR Snow Control. DIMIR Snow Control is another variant on DIMIR Control, a deck that I definitely already showcased a little bit earlier in the week, but that version didn't focus on the snowlands. Why would you want snowlands? Specifically, like, we don't have Faceless Haven. We're not trying to win with our lands. We don't even have a Crawling Barrens. No, we are running the snowlands for one card and one card only. A really good card in the right shell, and that card is Graven Lore. Graven Lore says that you scry X, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast a spell, then draw 3 cards. As opposed to the typical 5-mana draw 3 at instant speed, this one has an added effect that basically makes it more like a draw 4 or 5, where you get to scry the cards you don't need to the bottom, usually lands, and you pretty much draw all or mostly spells. So that alone makes Graven Lore considerably more powerful than the typical card in that spot. Now, why didn't we run it in the other version of the deck? I think the other version of the deck was much better against aggro because Mazemind Tome gives a life bonus. It's just a cheaper play in every way. But Graven Lore and its partner here, Behold the Multiverse, and this shell is much better against Yorion and Sultai Ultimatum decks. So the Sultai Ultimatum deck is actually starting to see so much play in Best of 1 Mythic, I'm starting to ease back on my anti-aggro-ness. Now, I say that. This deck still has 3 Erebos' Intervention, 4 Heartless Axe, 4 Eliminates, 4 Elspeth's Nightmare, and 4 Extinction Event, because getting run over by aggro in Best of 1 is just too easy to do. You just can't make that mistake. You can't run a deck that is that soft to aggro. But I do have 3 negates in my main deck to go with 4 Saw It Comings and 4 Jwari Disruptions and a Fae of Wishes with a bunch of counters to fetch in the sideboard as well. So I am very cognizant of the fact that we need to beat that ultimatum deck. It's becoming way too popular, and when I run decks, control decks with just 4 counters, if it doesn't have something like Raven's Form or Fae of Wishes to help, it's just not enough against emergent ultimatum decks. They just have too many powerful effects. This deck in particular, with Behold the Multiverse, Omen of the Sea, and Graven Lore, finds the cards it needs pretty well. So you usually have a negate when you need it, and I think that that is a really good matchup. So if you're sick of losing to Emergent Ultimatum, this deck is good against that deck. The matchup, I would say, is very good. And the aggro matchup is still passable. Erebos' Intervention has moved into a major spot in the deck to fight the indestructible cards of the format, from Coma to Seasoned Hollowblade, and it does a good job at it. The life gain is also crucial against mono red. And as you have seen again and again, Shark Typhoon is our win con. We also have 1 Ugin, just 1 8-drop. When you dig through so much of your deck with Graven Lore, you may as well have an 8-drop to hit somewhere in there. Of course, we'll get it in our opening hand because the shuffler is fine, but you know what I'm saying. So that's the deck. We are a Yorion deck, 80 cards, mostly because of rogues, and I hate them, and because I love having all these sweet cards in my deck, and because Graven Lore gets you so deep into the deck anyway. It's not that being a Yorion deck doesn't cost you, it's that I enjoy it. I have 4 Omens of the Sea, and 4 Elspeth's Nightmare to blink. That's it. It's not a dedicated Yorion deck. It's just a little bit of value and a 4/5 that might also win the game. What would I do without them? If you want to make a smaller version of the deck, you can cut a lot of the cards. You can cut the Omen of the Sea, you can cut the Elspeth's Nightmare, you can maybe move the Ugin to the sideboard, go down to 1 Midnight Clock, then you cut like 8 lands, and you're there. It's not hard to de-Yorion your deck, so I don't understand people complaining when I play my favorite card with more cool cards in my deck. Anyway. Sideboardy stuff. There is another Ugin down here. There is a Shadow's Verdict. There is a Soul Shatter. There is a Necromentia. You guys can go, of course, get the deck list on AetherHub or check the description. If you scroll to the bottom, it is right there. So if you want to know the makeup of the Wishboard, it is there. But I'm not going to talk about every card in Wishboards anymore. They're very similar. If you've seen my Fae of Wishes and Raven's Warning. I want to say Raven's Crime. That's an old card. Raven's Warning Wishboards. So they start to run about the same, and explaining them in every intro is a little tedious. I understand if it's your first time watching one of my videos, you might want to go back and watch the other ones, or just play with it. You'll get the idea of what's going on. So yeah, deck is sweet, ready to smash some Yorion, ready to go rumble. I had some sweet Grixis decks and DIMIR control mill decks, and I played way too many Sultai Ultimatums. And I was like, all right, those decks are unplayable in current meta, at least the way it is today. We got to bust out this one, and I think this one will repair my rank. So let's dive in. Before we do, video dedication to Brad Lang, the latest member of the Cool Kids Club Dojo. Thank you very much. You're cool. Today I'm going to dedicate this sweet 90% off a Crowan War cosmetic to you. So thank you, Brad. And if you would like to potentially get a cosmetic dedicated to you and join the Cool Kids Club Dojo, hit the join button below. We have bonus videos. My deck lists get posted a day early in the Discord. There's benefits, and I appreciate all of you, over 325 of you who are supporting the channel. It means so much. So let's dive in. Let this nonsense begin.
Get ready for a shark attack. Receive a free CovertGoBlue shark token with every Magic the Gathering singles order made from March 8th to March 21st. Only at CoolStuffInc.com. Cool stuff in stock.
Yorion! Gotta catch 'em all. Alright, so we have to find counters and lands is what you're telling me, but this is a matchup we should be able to win. But we do have to draw reasonably. Opponent on the play. Do they have the Haven start? My god, how do they do this? They always have it. All right, let's foretell, because we need to get as deep into the deck as we can starting next turn, and they might think that's a saw it coming. Everybody likes to big brain these things. All right, if we don't find a counter, we're just gonna die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going on 7. So, scry, scry, scry. Anything that's not a counter. Oh yeah, baby. All right, nice. It's also in the perfect spot on top of the deck, so it can't get duressed by Yorion. Yorion. Counter, counter. It's a beautiful life. All right, blue mana. Foretell this one. Far away from where Elspeth's Nightmare can find it. Opponent wants to Omen, that's fine. We'll Omen on their turn. We need to hit land, and after, like, if we hit the next, like, 5 land drops, I think we can do this. Double black, triple green, another Omen, okay. They're trying to make their Yorion a threat so that it definitely has to be countered, which I guess I'm okay with, but they're still stalling. They don't like things getting countered. They're just playing 100% setup. Land, land. Okay. I mean, that probably finds more land. Hard to turn down when you're a Yorion deck. No Yorion. What else you got? Take 3. Granted. I'll counter that. What else you got? Epiphany's fine right now. They don't have really much to do with it. They just make some birds. So we'll see if they can somehow make that more effective. Because if they're just hitting lands and attacking with birds, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Well, okay. We need to find another counter. Are you ready? Let's work on it. The opponent hasn't given us a turn off yet. Clock, no. Land. All right, this is the scary turn, guys. Will we get a turn off to cast this Graven Lore? Opponent scries. 2 to the bottom, love it. Draws off the top. Is it another ultimatum? Say go. That works too. That's fine. That's fine. All right, make another critter. Let's cast Snow Through Time. All the omens. Okay. I mean, that gets me really deep if I'm looking for a counterspell next turn. What are we discarding? A land? We could also just play one of these Heartless Acts. I guess that's fine. Why'd I tap the Snow-Covered Swamp? No, I'm not Graven Loring this turn. I would double Omen first. $14. Opponent did not cycle that, which means the card in their hand is Valky, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like a Valky. Okay, 3 lands. 4 lands, but a counter is hidden amongst them. My turn. So can we attack Valky with a huge Shark Typhoon and kill it? 7 mana is the right number. So if the opponent plays Valky pluses it, attacks with both, we can make Shark attack Valky. Down to 10. Someday I'm supposed to respect these. Not sure when that day will come. I guess here we can Graven Lore and eliminate. Don't think I need the clock. Maybe I do. Maybe reshuffling all this is the right idea. Yeah, I guess we'll keep these. It also gives me something I can play so that I don't overdraw my hand. I have to watch how I tap, and I need to keep Snowlands coming. 1, 2, 3, counter, counter, counter. Okay, and this is fine. That is good. Oh, putting on a clinic. Putting on a clinic, guys. I'm so happy. I love Yorion. I love Yorion style decks. Lately, I've been playing against way too many of them. I don't want to counter this, do I? Let the clock go. We didn't really need it. We could have tapped it for mana, but then they just pass their phase anyway. Doesn't really accomplish anything. Nightmare is good. Let's get in that hand and see what's cooking. It's also something we can play proactively. Okay. Yep, still not alarmed. As much as I'd like to see their hand, I don't need to. All right, down to 7. We're not drawing extra cards here. We do want to play out a bit of our hand. But I also don't want to give this up because it can just kill a Vorinclex. Let's just say my turn. See if the opponent's ready for this shark. They've played 2 bindings, so I have a feeling they're running low. You know how it is. The bindings, like, they do burn a hole in your pocket because you want that land, but that shouldn't be the priority here. But the Nightmare would have taken it anyway. So the fact that they bound the clock pretty quickly, and then we got another one with the Nightmare, pretty good for us. Oh boy. Whatever shall we do? Flex on him. It's a curve of removal. Let's hope our opponent is a creature mage. A forest usually implies creatures somewhere. Another Heartless Act doubles down on the hand that we have. Fabled Passage on 2? It's kind of not where you want that, is it? What you got there? Well, I'm confused. Okay. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Let's get in that hand. Or at least try to. Play Elder Gargaroth. Beanstalk Giant. Are they ramping to Coma? They might be ramping to Coma. What you got there? Oh, we're mutating? Well, they definitely picked up some points on me just now because I didn't know what was going on. So what are they going to do? If they play this and mutate onto it, that doesn't accomplish anything. They're going to play a Giant next turn, which we can get rid of with a Heartless Act. We can buy Yorion in this moment, and then we have it set up to go with the Nightmare in the future when we take out the Symbiote. Okay. There's never enough land for this deck. Never enough land for this deck. What does this deck do? If it is a Coma pile, we're pretty good against Coma. Like, what's Coma gonna do to me? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Cool. Let's go ahead and make a shark and start clocking the opponent while they can't get rid of it with the pouncing. Did miss our land drop. Has reach. Oopsie. Doesn't. Forgot about that. 3 points of damage missed. I am on the verge of running out of ways to deal with these giants. Okay, so if we want to save our shark, we can Heartless Act this now, but I'm actually going to go ahead and lose the shark so that I can get rid of this with Heartless Act as well. because I want the 2-for-1 here. Well, that's not going to come in very handy, is it? All right, got to find a solution to a very large giant. Another very large giant. Let's see if we can find a counter here. Yay. Deck loves me. Just runs out a Great Horn, huh? I guess we can try to ambush it. That gets blown up if they draw another Pouncing Shore Shark. We can also intervention it. We actually haven't taken a hit yet, so we can be a bit patient. Scry to the top. So they're not going to mutate here, or they shuffle. So they're hard casting a Gem Razor. Okay. And we know their whole hand. Now they play the Symbiote, which we can eliminate or Nightmare. Here comes the attack. So we have to think about Coma. Let's make a Shark and block this. I think Coma's the point. I might be wrong about that, but it is definitely the thing that can just steal the game for them if we don't have a way to deal. And right now, Intervention is the one that deals. Okay, they take that hit. We're still at 20, plus we have Intervention, so Racing is just fine. Let's go ahead and kill the Symbiote. Let's Foretell saw it coming. I mean, it's another 2-for-1 with the Intervention, I guess, and they get rid of a 5/5. Let's shut it down. Let's shut it down. Still saving Intervention for Coma. Good. Yorion! I don't know if they play like a negate, but if they do, this will get it next turn. It also makes it so we can use our spare mana to start scrying with this Omen. That's fine. Opponent, why your deck no work? They did Beanstalk the hell out of it. I'm really surprised by the Beanstalks, though. Like, that's not something I see in a lot of mutate lists, so just not used to that one. Eliminate takes you out. Gem Razor still is a chump blocker here, so we can try to make the opponent lose it that way. They eat some food. I don't think I'll be force spiking anything anytime soon. And the opponent faces lethal and scoops it up. It's a decent hand. Let's go. We got some removal. We got a negate. Our opponent's not playing Yorion, though, because if I have a negate in my deck, I will never play against a Yorion deck. But if I don't, I'll play against 50. Yes. You know what I'm talking about out there. Don't pretend you don't. I think I'd rather play the Omen here than Foretell. What the heck are you up to? Null Priest. I'm just playing the janky stuff. All right. I'll take it. I ranked my way out of the good decks and into the jank. So we'll let the Null Priest linger for a minute, get the clock going, get our mana set up, let the opponent extend and see more about their deck, and then decide what to remove. Because Erebos' intervention makes up a lot. Veto deck. Okay. Okay, double intervention. Nice. Feel like I'm playing Commander. Opponent's like, whoa, I got my veto. All right, let's see if this works. Could also just wait till end step. Yeah, let's blank their turn. This isn't that much damage because we recover so much with the intervention as long as they don't have like a Village Rites. And we want them to play more cards. All right, so they play this at the beginning of your end step if you gain more than 3 life. All right, so let's put a stop here, resolve this. Actually, naming odd now is really good. We'll just let them have that. Full bully mode activated. Stop, CGB. They're just some clerics. Let's foretell this. I don't think they'll play into a negate, but we'll see. Maybe there's something I'm missing, like an elixir. Cosmos elixir would be a surprise. More veto. Brutal. Just brutal. Come here, Yorion. We'll hold this eliminate. We'll use it on end step if we need to. Otherwise, we'll counter something. The clock is up to 7. I actually don't have that many land. But we want to use our cards. Now that I bought Yorion, I probably have to cast it. Maybe it was a mistake. You know me, I'd reach for Yorion. Eradicator Valkyrie. I will just intervene that. Shoot down the veto. Definitely want to play Yorion next turn. Definitely want to. We'll go for 3 here and hold up the negate and the Saw It Coming. Opponent might go for Village Rites or some spell. Light of Hope. Yeah, let's try to negate that. They're trying to save their Valkyrie. Let's not. Lurrus. Okay, Lurrus can be a headache. Never mind. Actually, that's an instant. What are they getting back? Just the Null Priest? Not much of a Null Priest either. We could flicker the clock, but I do want those cards. I just also want the clock. I also want Yorion. But I mean, why do I want Yorion? To draw this card? It's not worth it. I just like a good Sky Noodle, you know? Besides, we'll draw it again, probably. Invoke the Divine. Nope. Counter, counter, counter. Nope, nope, nope. 4 clerics. 4 Whittle clerics. Let the Stranglehold continue. They have Light of Hope, so casting the Typhoon doesn't make a lot of sense. This is fine. Gravenlore will find a solution. Click it like 5 times. Maybe it will come to you. Ah, the brutality. The poor veto deck. Selfless savior. Yep. Yep. All right, let's see if they've got something for this. Make 5/5. Gotta defend that prince. It's what you've got, you know. That's just the nature of the beast at this point. Okay, tunnel is clear because of the way our mana lines up. We still have 2 mana for a Kami, saw it coming, and 5 for a Gravenlore. It's fine. Man, all their cards just aren't very threatening, are they? Okay. You talked me into this negate. Wow. Yeah. That was not a fair fight. On the play. And we've got a Heartless Act. We've got an 8-drop. I'm keeping it. Hopefully the counter and the Heartless Act get us to the Gravenlore, and the Gravenlore fixes everything. And hey, if we don't draw the land for it, hopefully we draw spells that are relevant. Blue-red snow. Is this going to be the dragon deck with like 50 counter spells? That deck's hard to beat. Let's not buy the Yorion. In no rush on that. And yeah, they foretell. I think it is that deck. I thought that deck was going to go out of favor, but here it is. So if we play this, we threaten Gravenlore the next turn. But this could still be really useful, but yeah, I think we'd have to make sure that we hit land here. I do need them to tap out, though. They can probably counter this. Invasion of the Giants. Oh, they're a giant deck. Okay, well, let's fight. Giant deck. 99% mythic, huh? What you got here? For 1 blue? Consecrated Defense. I will pay 1 because you have no creature on the battlefield. Is that what you meant to do? I'm just going to do this now. Since they do play some kind of counter spells, this all looks amazing. That was a game of Magic. It happened. Awkward mana, but a nightmare. But it's on the draw. Don't love it. But if we draw land, it's okay. And if we don't draw land, I don't know. Maybe this was a bad keep all the way around. And against white we don't have against Boros we don't have an extinction event yet. That's brutal. We'll need an Erebos' intervention. Let's see what they do. Right now we also don't have an untapped land for next turn. We might have to negate a Sky Maul, though. They want to go to combat. Let's kill the Usher. Hope they play something else that we can Nightmare, even though we can't right now cast the Nightmare next turn. Clock is ticking on this Hollow Blade. We've got to find an answer. Extinction event, it's a good one. That is unfortunate that we can't deal here. The double Fable Passage is not good. I guess we let that happen because we can't let the opponent showdown us or maul us. Smarty opponent will just boast here and do nothing else, I think. It does give us a turn to Omen, though. It's a little bit of a punish from us. Okay, they play around Jwari. That's pretty lucky. Alright, we need Extinction Event. Nothing else will do. Extinction Event leaves them with a Hollow Blade that's still difficult to deal with. Alright, just bad work on my part. Kept a very bad hand for this matchup. For any aggro matchup. I just haven't played aggro all day, which is weird, but here we are. Man, every loss is over 200 rank. It's so nasty right now. This might be it. This might be back to top 1000 Mythic. After some Grixis and some DIMIR mill decks that shall never be played again, dropped me in savage fashion. Over 200 points of loss. We're trying to get back. And we got to do it on hard mode because we're on the draw, but we have a decent hand. So, let's go. Got my ice tunnel ready. I'm ready. Let's go. Come and get it. This is mono white. They play mono white. Mono white. Alseed, Creature Nymph, Luminarch Aspirant, Gain 2 life, Die, just die. Do like the Wolfie Wolf sleeves. Our opponent found a Sky Mall, that's pretty good. That'll get some damage through. I kind of want to make a shark and block. Oh no, not the Haven. All right, we have to counter the Hollow Blade so that we can Extinction Event the bounty. Oh, Haven's brutal though. And then the next turn we Shark Typhoon the Haven, I hope. Man, being on the draw is hard. Their draw is not that great. It's good, not great. Ours is very good, but man, it is hard when you're this far behind just for starting the game. All right, so next turn we can kill this Haven with a Shark. They had to have one more creature, didn't they? They had to. All right, I guess I have to block the Usher. This is gonna get really close. Really close. Like they can make a 1/1, they can get me to 1 next turn with an attack, but they can't activate Haven and suit up Sky Mall, so they have to choose. It's a good draw. That's a really good draw. We have to be careful though to play around Giant Killer with our Shark Typhoon. What are they going to do? If they charge in with Haven, we trade there, go to 1. If they suit up Sky Mall, can we go over the top? We can. All right, I'm not playing around Giant Killer because this is somewhat free. Let's go Typhoons. Shark Week and a half. Brought to you by Cool Stuff Inc. and the top of Dan's library. Who's Dan? Shh. Shh. Everybody, just forget that. Just forget that. It's not important. Doesn't matter. I'm scared. I'm not attacking. I'm too scared. I don't want to lose to like activate Haven, attack, tap it, and Giant Killer. Let's find those Erebos' interventions. I never seem to have them against the great, the powerful, the mono white. All right, sad Skyclave. Read the card, non-token. Yeah, that's what it says. I know. I know, it's a token. This says non-token. I know. It's sad. I know. Let's behold the verse. Don't need this land, do need more verse. Oh, that's good. All right, deck, let's go. Do the things. Yeah, this can hit the giant killer, which is one of their outs. Sacrifice, yep. Still name an odd. It does keep their savior in the graveyard for Luris, so it's a good play. More people should do it. All right, so with negate, I can start attacking. What if the opponent... Okay, 1, 2, 3, equip. They still need 2 more lands to put them all on the Haven, so let's do this. Because I'd rather trade the 3-3 for their Haven than the 4-4. Usher of the Fallen. Let's use a counter. We're too low on life to ignore it. Oh, they got impatient. They're making the trade. Okay. Let's do this now and see what we find. No, no. The clock. Okay. Let's get the clock ticking. So, is there anything that they can play an attack with on the same turn? No, because they're white. Right? Right? A lot of crap on the bottom, so we don't want to sack this. Okay, they're done. Are we top 1,000 again? No. Close. Lurie. All right. Rogues, huh? At least we have a early removal spell, so we'll give it a try. But without Clings, I feel so much worse about this matchup. Like, incredibly worse. Oh, there goes my clock. That's not cool. And the negate. Yeah, that's... And a Shark Typhoon. Okay, and a Shark Typhoon. 3 Shark Typhoons. Shuffler's fine. And 7 cards. And no counters here for their you-know-what. Into the story. No land. No land? Okay. I didn't want to make a shark that turn anyway. Oh, nice. 2 for 1. And still no land, but that just means these are all spells, which means this game is going to be a nightmare to get through. But we can't turn this down. We just have to hope they don't draw a land this turn. They are going to have to walk a tightrope behind in mana, because we might just resolve this Shark Typhoon. Like, we can play Gravenlore. If they counter it, we play Shark Typhoon. That's a pretty good idea. Land? You got it? No? Okay, Gravenlore. They say, well, I can't let that resolve. Well, can you let this resolve? Check. We do have to draw spells. We've drawn 2 straight lands, which is kind of sad. Good game? Not really. We'll give that a nice. Oh, that's what we'll give that. Die, rogues. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and deck did what it came to do. I would say my losses, I had a very unlucky one against an Azorius deck. That game is probably too long, where I just drew none of my card draw spells. That one left a mark. I hate losing to card draw decks when I have so much card draw in my deck and I draw none of my card draw. Feels bad. And then I kept a bad hand against Boros. On the draw, you need good mana. You can afford to mulligan because you'll probably hit something that you don't need in that matchup. Like, if you think you're against aggro, you'll probably mulligan into something slow, like Saw It Coming, Midnight Clock, Ugin, Behold the Multiverse, Gravenlore, and you can put that back and keep a hand with like 3 good land drops and some removal. And you're much better off than keeping a hand with like tap land, Jwari Disruption, and Extinction Event that is just going to get run over. So that's my advice there. Watch your mulligans on the draw. Assume you're against aggro if they don't have a Yorion companion, and go from there. This deck also beat up on the brews. There were brews out and about today, like Clerics and Mutate, things I don't normally see on the ladder, and this deck can handle it well. I think this deck is actually a low-key top-tier contender, and I think this version that beats Ultimatum is specifically a top-tier contender, if there's a lot of that Ultimatum deck still around. As soon as they get back into aggro world, it gets a lot harder. But lately, Sultai Ultimatum and Yorion has a higher presence on ladder than I'm used to. So I'm not going to run decks that fold to it. Counterspell decks with a lot of instant speed card draw, that's where it's at. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You're cool.